We said we have two main categories of prophets. We have true prophets and what? True prophets and false prophets. Major, there are only two. True and false. So when we talk about true prophets, they are those prophets who received a divine call. They received a divine call from God. And they are divided also in 5 categories. We have major prophets, minor prophets, we have non-canonical prophets, canonical prophets, early prophets, cultic prophets, and professional. Remember, these are the things. I'm just reminding you, you did them in Form 1, right? And in major prophets, when we talk about major prophets here, these are prophets which in the Bible you find their message is elaborate. It is very detailed. We can know what they were doing, where they were. For example, if you are told about a major prophet like Isaiah, we've been explained the backstory of Isaiah. Daniel, you know what happened to Daniel. So that's why they are called major prophets, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, because their message is detailed. We also have minor prophets. And in the Bible, you find that minor prophets, we have less information about them. That is, we have what is explained in the Bible about these prophets is very short. Example of minor prophets, we have Amos, Hosea, Joel, Obadiah, Micah, Nahum. We also have Habakkuk. We have Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, and Jonah. And when we were talking about, remember we are talking about true prophets. The third category of true prophets is canonical prophets. These are major prophets and also minor. And they are called canonical because they are the ones who wrote the books that bear their names. That is, they wrote the books that bear their names. We have also early prophets. These are prophets that lived together in a community, like a school. You know, we are living here together as a school. So these ones lived together as a school in a community. And they were asked by God to perform various tasks. When you're talking about these, is for example, Moses. What was Moses told by God to do? What was Moses told? Which task? To go and what? Deliver the people of what? Of Israel. From there, we also have cultic prophets. Cultic prophets are prophets who served in the places of worship. Like today, where do we worship? In churches, right? So these cultic prophets served in these places. For example, they served in Bethel and Jerusalem. So mostly they are associated with places of worship, for example, shrines during that time. We have non-canonical, and these we find they are prophets who, remember when I talked about canonical, I told they are prophets who wrote the books, the Bible books that they are talked about, right? They are the ones who did the writing. But when we talk about non-canonical, these are prophets that their messages were written by other people. For example, Elisha. When you talk about Elisha, the message that you get was written by or was compiled by a different person. It's not them who wrote the message. We also have professional prophets. These are prophets who lived in the temple. And they were able to earn a living there through their prophecy. If they prophesy, they earn a living. They were able to live by that, by prophesying. So, duties of cultic prophets. Remember, I told you cultic prophets, they are the ones who lived in the what? In the places of worship. They lived in Jerusalem, in Bethel, where there were shrines. They were living there. So what were their duties? Number one, they were experts in prayer. So they were praying. They also brought people's petitions before God. So if you needed something, cultic prophets are the ones who communicated it to God. Also, if they got an answer from God, they still communicated it to the people. They guided priests on how to sacrifice in order for their sacrifices to be accepted. And then they also interpreted the covenant between Yahweh and the Israelites.